You know the drill. You're at the doctor's office, and out comes that little rubber hammer. A quick tap on the knee, your leg kicks out, seemingly all on its own. It feels like a simple, maybe even an old-fashioned ritual, right? But what is your doctor actually looking for? Well, today, we're going to solve this very common medical mystery.
So let's get right into it. I mean, we live in an age of MRI scans, genetic testing, and super complex blood work. So why does this simple little hammer stick around as a key part of the neurological exam? The answer is pretty amazing. That little tap is one of the most elegant and powerful diagnostic tests ever invented.
And while our source for this, a neurologist, jokes that he married his wife for her awesome reflexes, the real reasons doctors check them are, well, they're a fascinating peek directly into the health of your nervous system. So let's break down what that kick actually means.
All right, so to really get why this test is so powerful, we have to first understand how it works. You can think of a reflex as your body's own built-in instant messaging system. It's a circuit that fires off way faster than you can even think about it. So what we're testing is something called the deep tendon reflex. At its most basic, when the hammer stretches the tendon, your body's instinct is to immediately contract that muscle to protect it from tearing or injury. It's a totally involuntary safety feature that's literally hardwired into us.
Now here is the coolest part about this whole pathway. It's not a conscious decision. That signal zips from the muscle, goes to the spinal cord, and gets routed immediately back to the muscle to make it contract. Your brain is completely cut out of the loop. It only finds out that your leg kicked after it's already happened. It's a pure, lightning-fast local circuit.
Okay, so if everybody has this reflex, what on earth is the doctor looking for? Well, they're not just checking to see if it's there, they're grading its quality. And this is where the real detective work begins. This is where we start to crack the code. Doctors use this simple scale, from 0, which means no reflex at all the way up to a 4+, which is a super brisk repeating reflex. A 2+ is considered totally normal. That's the sweet spot. The really important clues, though, they lie at the extremes of this scale.
And here it is, the single most important clue. If a reflex is weak or absent, a 0 or 1+, it suggests a problem in the local wiring, that little circuit we just talked about. But if a reflex is too brisk or exaggerated, a 3+ or 4+, that points to a problem higher up, in mission control, meaning the brain or the spinal cord. See, your brain is constantly sending signals down your spine to keep your reflexes in check, to dampen them. If that signal gets interrupted, the reflexes are basically let off the leash and they go wild.
And this is where you start to see the real stakes. Those brisk 3+ reflexes can be one of the very first signs pointing towards really serious central nervous system conditions, like multiple sclerosis, a stroke, or even a major spinal cord injury. So let's see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to look at 3 incredible cases where this simple reflex test basically played the role of a neurological detective and solved a really complex medical puzzle. Okay, first up, a 20-year-old guy comes into the ER with tingling. It started in his feet, and it's quickly moving up his body. He'd just gotten over a cold, so the doctors had a prime suspect in mind right away. The ER doctors were pretty sure it was Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's a disease where the immune system attacks the peripheral nerves, and it fit the symptoms perfectly. But remember, a disease of the peripheral nerves should mess with that local wiring. So what did the reflex exam show? And here's the twist. His reflexes were totally normal. Guillain-Barré should have made his reflexes weak or even completely absent. This one single finding told the doctors they were looking in the wrong place. The problem wasn't in his peripheral nerves. It had to be somewhere in the central nervous system, specifically the spinal cord.
An MRI confirmed it. The real diagnosis was spinal cord damage, and it was caused by recreational use of nitrous oxide, whippets, which had totally wiped out his body's active vitamin B12. That reflex test was the first critical clue that sent the doctors down the right path to saving him. All right, case number 2. We have a 55-year-old man with weakness in his right leg. He gets an MRI, and the scan shows he has herniated discs in 2 totally different places, his lower back and his neck, and either one could potentially be causing his symptoms. So now the surgeons have this huge dilemma. Operating on the wrong disc wouldn't just fail to help. It would be a total disaster. The scans show 2 potential culprits, but which one was the active problem that was actually causing his leg to be weak? The reflex hammer gave them the answer. In his weak leg, he had super brisk 3+ and 4+ reflexes. Now remember our rule? A problem in the lower back, a peripheral nerve issue, would cause a weak or diminished reflex. The only way you get a brisk reflex like that is if the problem is higher up, in the central nervous system. The neck disc was the real culprit, and that simple test saved him from the wrong surgery.
And for our final case, we have a 40-year-old woman with something called a foot drop. It basically means she couldn't lift her left foot, which caused her to trip when she walked. Now, this is a pretty common symptom, but it usually has two main causes.
So the big question was, where was the nerve getting pinched? Was it coming from her lower back, a condition called an L5 radiculopathy? Or was the nerve getting pinched somewhere locally in her leg, right down near her knee?
To figure this out, the doctor tested a very specific reflex, the hamstrings reflex, which is directly connected to that L5 nerve root in the back. And her reflex was completely normal. It's almost impossible to have a truly pinched L5 nerve and still have a normal hamstring reflex. This told the doctor the back wasn't the problem. The real issue was a pinched nerve in her leg, caused simply by her habit of crossing her legs. A simple change in how she sat solves the whole thing.
But the power of the reflex test doesn't actually stop with just the nervous system. It can also be a window into the overall metabolic and hormonal state of your entire body.
Yeah, it turns out that even things going on system-wide can show up in our reflexes. An overactive thyroid, for example, can make your reflexes super brisk and rapid. An underactive thyroid can do the opposite, and sometimes it even makes the muscle relax so slowly that the reflex looks hung up. Even things like your calcium or magnesium levels can show up here.
So that simple tap with a little rubber hammer, it's not some outdated habit. It is an incredibly powerful diagnostic tool. It gives doctors a quick, cheap, and totally non-invasive window into the health of your peripheral nerves, your spinal cord, and even your brain.
It's really a testament to the elegance of the physical exam. It proves that sometimes the most valuable information doesn't come from the fanciest machine, but from understanding the body's own simple hardwired circuits. Your reflexes are a story, written in milliseconds. What are they telling you?